Hello, welcome to part 3 of 2 of the Solitaire game. We're going to skip part 2. Part 2, I fixed a bunch of bugs and added some visuals so you can drag multiple cards around. It took me about an hour and it was a lot of back and forth of me trying to even figure it out because I had not planned ahead. I completely forgot that you could move multiple cards at a time in Solitaire, so my entire plan I had to sort of refactor, and I did it live while recording, which just wasn't good to watch, wasn't good to follow along because it was like I kept going back and changing things. I'm going to leave it as is and keep that video there because if you're curious, you can watch for the sake of following along, like seeing the debug process. Otherwise, I will leave the starting scripts, the scripts at this point, available so you can jump ahead with me. Okay. So what is left is to create a manager that will shuffle a single deck, deal out all the cards into all the different spots, and then keeping track of the face up and face down parts. And we'll do that after. So our manager is going to have a list of a normal deck of cards, and then it's going to shuffle that list, and then it's going to deal them out into all of the different slots. So there's 7 slots across the top, 4 above that where the aces go, and 7 normal ones, and then 1 where the deck where you can grab 1 or deal 3 out. And we're not going to get into the dealing of going through that deck yet. We'll just let us grab 1 off the top of it, I guess. Yeah, so that's the plan. You should be able to skip ahead in that deck in a normal game of Solitaire, like you go through it, but we're not going to get that far. We're probably not going to get that. We're not going to get that far. So we're going to make a manager that can shuffle and deal out the cards, and we're going to organize a little bit. So let's head into the game. We need to create 7 rows of normal stacks. So let's make them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's 7. And then these go sort of at the top. Let's make the camera a little bit larger. It's like too large. Where's my camera? Size 2.5. And they should be spaced tighter together. See, but my grid's messed up. They don't snap anymore. I should add the Pro Grids add-on. In the middle, because the aces will be up top. We'll add our dealing deck, and we'll add our ace stack. We'll put the ace stack up top. Like that. And the ace stacks can only have a value of 1 for that. And these all have a value of 13. Must be a king to go there. Okay, so that's kind of looks like a Solitaire. They're not spaced evenly. That would bother me. I would spend longer on it, but we need to keep moving. I'll make a new empty and put it at the origin. Call it stacks. And we'll just put all of our stacks in there. Great. Let's make a game. Let's call game manager. Oops. We'll make a new script. Solitaire manager. Public list of cards, and it will take our normal deck. Private list of card shuffle. Just deck. Void start. Well, not in start. We'll do a, we'll shuffle them out. Shuffle, deal, new game. Public card stack array of our plays. I don't know what you call the stacks where you actually make the plays on the game. Public card stack array of ace stacks. Public card stack deal deck stack. Something like that. We'll keep track of the different stacks. So we'll take our normal deck, which we're gonna edit it in the inspector to be the 52 cards. We'll make a copy of it into this deck and then shuffle that. Then we will deal out into the play stacks, deal out into the deck stack, and clear so like restart the game. We can always just reload the scene to restart the game, you know, if we don't want to be bothered with like handling cards, but it's a good idea to be able to reset everything anyway. So new game is we will first clear all of our stacks. And I wrote a function, a clear function in part 2. A stacks and play stacks and deck stack dot clear. So we'll clear all of our stacks. So part 1, we'll clear what we have. And our deck. Clear also is the name of a function that will reset a list to be an empty list. Make sure this mic can catch my voice. My wireless mic I was using died. Okay. Shuffle or copy the deck into our deck. I don't think we actually need to clear it because we're about to replace it with a new list of cards. But if we give it a list of cards as an argument when you make a new list, it will clone it. So we'll clone our normal deck. Neat. Now we need to shuffle that deck. So how do we do it? Shuffle deck. We're going to use a very simple algorithm called the Fisher-Yates shuffle. I was looking up Solitaire before doing this. Fisher-Yates shuffle. To do a Fisher-Yates shuffle, it's an algorithm for generating a random permutation of sequences. The way it works is you loop. This is such a terrible definition of it. Here we go. You loop through your list. And as you go from top to bottom in your list, you swap the item you're at with a random item in that list. And you go all the way through and just swap randomly. That's it. So we can write that algorithm. You can also, this is definitely something where you would go to Stack Overflow and Google it. But we'll say for int I equals 0, I less than deck dot count I plus plus. Swap card I with a random card somewhere else. Int j, or random integer j, will be equal to random dot range between 0 and deck dot count. If you give range to integers, it includes the minimum one, which is 0, and it excludes the maximum number. It won't return 52, which is good because the last item in our array is 51. It's count minus 1 because the first item is 0. We start counting at 0. So that should give us a random integer. Get random number. Card temp equals deck I equals deck j equals temp. Swap them. Can't swap them directly because you can only move things one at a time, so we'd replace it. So we need to move A to a random place, B to A, temporary place to B. And that will swap them. And that should shuffle the deck. So if we make this list public, we'll be able to see it in the inspector, and we can check. So we will shuffle deck on start. Actually, we'll just do new game on start, right? We'll need to get there eventually. So new game on start. In our manager, we'll add our script. And let's not worry about any of, well, we can populate it, but all I care about right now is normal deck, which is my list of cards. Dragging and dropping all of those one by one would be kind of a pain, but there's a neat way to do it. Let me lock, if you see it here, I lock the inspector. So now as I click on select things, they won't change. I'm going to select every one of my cards and drop them onto this title normal deck. And you can see normal deck now is in the length of 52. Probably the right cards. And we can hit play. That'll start a new game. That I have breakpoints from before. We can skip that. Okay. Don't worry about that. Reference exception. On line 29. Oh, I was doing the... All right. I do need to fill those in because those are empty now. Dealing deck is this. Play stacks are these 7. Ace stacks are these 4. And my deck is empty. Okay. I hit play. Deck is now also 52. And it's totally in a random order. So spades, diamonds, hearts. If I hit play again. Hearts, hearts, clubs. It's getting shuffled each time. So now we need to create the solitaire pattern. All right, so the solitaire pattern, I don't have my mic isn't set up. The solitaire pattern, cards up top, 1 card there, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do we do that? We will, for every card in our deck, so we've shuffled it, for every card in our play stacks dot length. So now there's what's this? So we have an array that holds them in left to right. So we have at index 0 we'll have the leftmost one, and at index 6 we'll have the rightmost stack. And we want to deal 1 card to the leftmost, 2 cards to the next, 3 cards to the next, 4 cards to the next. So we will do that. So we will use this integer in this loop as a way to keep track of how many go in each stack. So we'll make another loop. In j equals j less than I plus 1. Now I need to deal j cards into stack I. So I will take card C equals what was that? Deck. We'll take the top card of it, which is deck.count -1. We'll remove that one. Remove out that index. And then we will take play stacks I and add card to the stack. See. Why didn't those clear earlier? Earlier when I hit play, there were a bunch of cards on the screen. They should have been all empty. Maybe something's wrong. Hey, they're not in order from left to right. They're not in order. Let's name these. Stack test 1 should be, let's unlock this. So I can call this stack 1. 1, 2, 3. This will be stack 4. Two, 6, 7. Where's 3? Now I'll go to my game manager and my play stacks, and in 2020.1 I can reorder these by dragging up and down. Neat. Otherwise, I have to remove them and re-add them, or just drag and drop them in the right order. But that was pretty convenient. Solitaire. King can't go there. An ace could go there. 5 can go here. There's an ace. Let's test it. Yes. Yes. Solitaire is happening. I shouldn't act so surprised, but, you know, it's just like, there it is. Okay, so we'll add the rest of the cards to the dealing deck. So we'll take, after this, we'll do dealing deck. What did I call that? Deck stack. Let's call that dealing deck. We'll do dealing deck dot add multiple cards. We'll just add the rest of our deck and clear the rest of our deck because it's all in play. We'll keep one copy of these cards in any location. So now that should be there. No reference exception. Because I changed the name of the variable in my game manager, it unset that value. So I have to reset it because I changed the name of it. Nice. Okay. And then I think we made a Boolean variable in the dealing deck to not render all cards. I did that in the previous section. Nice. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to play Solitaire. Okay, that one isn't. Again, we're not going to get to dealing, but like that would be the next step. These are all face up. They need to be face down. So we're going to actually store the face up or face down value. I did this before and I said, I don't need it. And then I decide now that I do need it. We're going to do a public Boolean for is face up. We'll set that to true. And then a public sprite get sprite. And that will, if is face up, it will return face up sprite. Else it will return face down sprite. That's it. That's it. This is great because it means you can mix blue and red cards in this game in addition to in your real game. Don't do that. There might be, the face down sprite's going to be the same for almost all the cards. So do we really want that value stored here or maybe in some like deck collection of cards that is a scriptable object and not just a public list? Options, possibilities, dreams. Okay. So Solitaire Manager will set every card. It will set every card to face down. We're looping through all the cards here, so let's just do it here. Deck I dot face is face up equals false. We'll set every card to face down. Then the card stack will reveal top card, which we will, if our stack dot count is greater than 0, stack dot count -1 dot is face up equals true. And then every time I add or remove a card, I will refresh the display, but I'll also reveal the top card when I add a new one to it. Probably not necessary. The cards we're dragging should be revealed because when I take cards off the top, I will reveal the top card. Take top cards multiple was another function I wrote. Reveal the top card. Great. So they should all be, and then we just need to change the visual here to not get face up sprite, but get sprite, which will return the correct face up or face down sprite, depending on the Boolean. And now they should all be okay. Not intended behavior. Why did it not do it for all of them? Okay, well, let's take card stack and let's find that reveal top card. Oops, reveal top card. And we'll just comment this line out and then see if they're all face down. And if they all are all face down, if they are all face down, they're not. Okay, so something's wrong. For some reason, some of these cards are not getting displayed, getting set to face down. So that makes me think the problem is in the manager. So instead of doing it when we shuffle it, we will do it afterwards. We'll just go through and set them all to is face up to false. Then I need to see where in I'm using this face up sprite. So I can actually check that refresh display here is setting the face up sprite instead of setting it to get sprite. I did that with Control B in Writer. And the only places that these sprites should be accessed should be that card.getSprite. Also all these scriptable objects, but that's fine. Card.getSprite. So none of these other codes, none of these other scripts should be directly finding these values. They should be they should be using this. What we also could have done, and I'm going to do this on the face down one just so I make sure I don't mess it up, is we could do Serialize Fields and set that to private. And now the other scripts couldn't even access it if they wanted to. They would have to use this public function to get them. And then I would do that and I'd see where all my errors popped up and I would go in and change it. And that would make refactoring very easy. I want to make sure I don't lose my serialized data, right? These are still set to card back. They are. Okay, I should be able to do that without having to redrag and drop 52 cards. Let's find out. Yes, it's fine. Okay. I just want to double check that you're not going to lose all your work. They are all face down. Great. Let's go to the card stack and uncomment that reveal top card. It didn't do anything. So we need to reveal the top card for each stack after we've done this. So after we've added all the cards to them, we'll say play stacks dot reveal reveal top card. So we'll shuffle them out, reveal the top one. Oh my God. Solitaire. Oh, it's beautiful. And if I grab multiple at a time, I can still like try to, ooh, oh no, you can cheat. All right, if the card you select is face up, that has to be about, that has to be a value. That's the card mover. That is not equal null. And select the card that is dot. And select the card that is face up. That's the card visuals. Grab the card, grab if it's face up. Okay. Big bug on that one. Easy to. Let's test it. Yeah, it's revealing them the second I take them and not. So I can still I can still cheat. So I shouldn't reveal them when I take that top card or take the top cards. I should reveal them when I've successfully moved them to a new deck. If from stack is not equal to my stack, from stack dot reveal top card. If you took it away and then successfully put it where it was, it shouldn't show you the previous one. How do we test this? 9 goes to 10. See, it's going too soon. It's still going. Okay. It should reveal when I click, when I let go, I mean. So we shouldn't even do it on the start of the drag. We should do it on the end of the drag. So we release it, we let go, and then from stack, if from stack is not equal to my stack, not my stack, a new drop stack, from stack dot reveal top card. No. Okay, it didn't do it. It didn't do it. Why didn't do it? We let go. Is that getting unset somewhere? It should be where the card came from. Return to the old stack as the from stack. Let's get rid of that. Maybe that's what's happening. If we can drop cards on the new location, and we add them there, we clear their hand, we reveal the previous top card. That feels fine. That feels like it should work. Feel it in my bones. But it does not. But it does not. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? What is this code? Happening. All right, if I move from stack 6 to empty, it didn't happen. Empty stack might be different. If I move from Empty stack might be different. If we drop down an empty stack, then we still need to do from stack dot reveal top card. I need to do it in both places. I mean, I have different checks for if I'm dropping on an empty stack or dropping on a non-empty stack. Maybe I was only testing the empty stack. Yeah. No. Just turn over and then we're done. Just turn over. Okay. We'll put a little breakpoint there in debug mode. Whoops. Put a little breakpoint there, go into debug mode, and it should reveal. The from stack is stack 5. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's 5. And it's revealed the top cards. The line's not commented out, right? No, it isn't, because it did the thing on start. Let's step into that. Let's go and see here what it is getting. The queen there is face up. It's false. It should be setting that to true. Is face up is true, but then it did not refresh the display. All right. All right. We did it correctly. The problem wasn't setting the variable. Well, we didn't do it correctly. Then we fixed that bug. Then there was another bug, is that we did not update the graphics. Oh, this is not a good start. Yeah, breakpoint. Get rid of you. Solitaire. I want to drag multiple cards. Okay, that one's not working, but I don't care because we're going to have to redo that anyway. Solitaire. All right, that is it. The game manager has absolute references to the various elements in our scene, and the elements in our scene have no idea who the game manager is or what happens. The only thing we're missing is checking if you have one or not, and dealing. We're going to ignore dealing because it's a separate system. It's a separate script that just manages things on its own and moves cards around on its own, and then you don't drag and drop. Maybe we can do it. What time is it? I'm already half an hour into this video, so we won't. Instead, we need some way to communicate to the game manager that cards are in a new location, something is moved, and you should check what's going on. So for game manager, we're going to write a new function, a public function, check if one. And for each card stack in ace stacks, if ace stacks dot count not equal to 13, we did not win. Else you won. Maybe? I don't know. That code will only happen if it runs. Okay, so we do some kind of public function that'll do the check. Got there in the end. We do some kind of function that checks to see if you've got all the cards in the ace thing. But we need to call this function. We need to say, hey, game manager, something's changed. Can you check for us? And we're going to use a nifty feature called a Unity event to pipe this together. Public Unity event on new cards here event. We're using a Unity event because we learned about it this week in class, so you should know about it. We're going to make on new cards here event, and whenever cards have been added, we will invoke the event. And I would just put a check to make sure if you add an empty array to it, it doesn't unnecessarily call the function. And that means we can do all of our connecting of pieces and puzzles and pipes in the Unity editor. I can go to my A stacks, and all of them I can say, okay, when there's a new card here, you tell the game manager to check if you have one. And if I don't see it, it's because the function's not public. It is public. But it's a public Boolean. Public void. Check for when if check if one. That maybe shouldn't matter. Maybe it doesn't need to be a void. I don't remember. Check for when. Yeah, it could never return type because it assumes you're doing the wrong function call. Event listeners shouldn't return data because they're event listeners. So let's move an ace up there. Did not win. But when we move cards down around here, we're not going to bother doing that potentially slow check. We're only going to do it when we move cards up top. Oh, and these cards will there's another bug, which is that they can only be added. They're not counting up by suit. We need to change the rules. But we can do that. But that's all for this video. The next steps would probably be making different versions of the child stack, making one parent stack object and other children of it, and then have the children override things like check if card can go here. So the ace stacks can behave differently than the playing stacks. And the playing stacks can do the render graphics differently, so they can do their whole complicated thing. And that'll save us having all those little Boolean selectable, render all cards, all that annoying stuff that is like these true or false things. If we use parents and children to like split that up, that would be the next step, is to refactor our code. I didn't think this would get to the point of complexity where we would bother or want to bother, but it's pretty clear that that would be the next step to much more elegantly or easily handle having, aces do different logic, and probably don't need those to display as a vertical line. They can probably just display one card. But anyway, that's part 3. So you can grab the code to part 2 and then follow along and make a little manager and do a little shuffle algorithm, and we almost have a solitaire game. Pretty cool.